Man, I love my girl. Okay. Hey guys. So let's go ahead and first of all, thanks for coming and thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing or whatever it is that you're doing. We're gonna come to a seated position with our legs crossed just to start off. We're gonna rest our hands on top of our knees. We're gonna start off with a couple of cleansing breaths. We're gonna do a couple of ohms, and then we are going to drop into the Ujjayi breath. That's the breath that I choose to teach during my classes. I also have a video up on IGTV if you want to go ahead and check that out. I'll upload it to YouTube as well if you prefer that. So let's just go ahead and we're gonna get started. So we're gonna close our eyes here. We're gonna start to extend the crown of our head up towards the ceiling, drawing our shoulder blades away from the ears, melting our chest and our heart forward, sucking our low belly in towards our spine so that we're elongating through the back of the spine. Taking a deep cleansing inhale through the nose. And then we're gonna slowly exhale it out. Again, inhaling through the nose. And then slowly exhaling out through the mouth. This time before we inhale, we're gonna bring our hands to the heart center. Again, inhaling through the nose. And then we're gonna slowly exhale it out as we let out our Om. So let's go ahead, we're going to drop into that Ujjayi breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Tongue pressing up against the back of the front two teeth, mouth closed. Relax the jaw. I have the music. So let's come to our hands and our knees, tabletop position. You know, this weekend we have the versus battle with, that's tomorrow, right? Erica Badu and Jill Scott and Honey. I'm excited. Woo! The things we have to look forward to during quarantine. Okay. So, I'm rambling. Wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the sit bones. From here, we're just gonna start to fall into our Ujjayi breath. On our first inhale, we're gonna go ahead and start to drop the belly down, drawing shoulders away from the ears. Slight bend in the elbows, slight sit bones going up towards the ceiling. Exhaling up to press the mat away from us. Curving through the upper spine, tucking chin in towards the chest. Inhaling, dropping belly. Exhaling, pressing that mat away from us. Sucking low belly in towards the spine. Tucking tailbone under. Inhaling, dropping belly. Gaze coming up, shoulders away from ears. From here, we're just going to come to a neutral spine. We're going to flip our fingertips back towards our knees. Inhaling as we drop belly, continuing the cat-cow here. Exhaling, pressing the mat away from you. And then we're just going to continue to link the breath with movement. I forgot to tell you in the beginning of the class, if at any time, any moment you feel like the asana or the poses are a little bit too much, listen to your body, honor your intuition, honor your feelings, and go into a child's pose. That's always an option. So we're going to continue here for 3 more rounds of breath. Okay, let's come to a neutral spine. And we're actually going to come into a child's pose here. So big toes together, knees as wide as the mat. We're going to sit our butts back on our heels, extending our fingertips towards the top of the mat. resting our forehead down on the mat. From here, I want you to kind of activate your wrist and your fingertips. You're going to come onto your fingertips like that, extending and activating your arms as well. So you're going to get a nice little shoulder stretch through the underarm area. From here, you're going to go ahead and walk your hands over to the right. You want to make sure you're relaxing your shoulders here. You don't want to be clenched in the shoulders, okay? So from here, we're going to start to walk our fingers over to the left to stretch out the other side, to get that stretch on that right side, you know? Or maybe you don't know. From here, we're going to walk our fingertips towards the center of the mat. Down, we're going to come down onto our bellies. Ooh, this is a jam too. I love you, Erica. Yes. We're going to extend the arms overhead. We're going to turn our head to the left, resting our head on our right ear. Then we're going to bring our left hand in front of our rib cage. And then we're going to start to bend this left knee, sliding that left knee up towards that left wrist. From here, you're going to take this left hand, and you're just going to reach around, start to bend that right knee, and you're going to grab onto that right foot. I like to grab onto the outside of the right foot, but whatever feels best for you. When you grab onto the outside of the foot, it kind of opens up the shoulder, so I would prefer that you flip that. From here, we're going to start to bring that right heel as close to the right glute as possible, so you can bend that left to give you a little bit more leverage. Bend that left elbow better yet, sorry. This is a great quad stretch. This is great if you are a runner, if you're trying to get your split, which I am right now. I'm just maybe about a couple inches off the ground. This is great. This stretches out the hip flexor. It stretches out the top of the quad. I think I already said that. Stretches out the knee. It opens up in the hip with this left leg that we have up. Because you can actually, if you want, you can bring this left knee up even higher for a deeper stretch. Then we're going to release that left foot. I'm sorry, that right foot. And then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to rest our left ear on our left hand. I'm sorry, our left bicep. And then we're going to bring this right hand towards our inner body. And we're going to start to bend that right knee, bringing that right knee up towards the top of the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to bend that left knee. The left foot is coming up towards the ceiling. They're going to reach around to the outside edge of that left foot with our right hand, and we're going to grab our foot. And then we're going to start to bring that left foot closer in towards that left glute. Really get a nice stretch in that quad. This is such a yummy little pose. So this pose is simultaneously working, opening up through the shoulder, the quad, and then also that the hip of the knee that's bent on the mat. So we're going to go ahead and release that left foot. Oh. And then we're going to bring both hands down by the side of our rib cage. Fingertips are directly underneath our shoulders. So we're actually going to come onto our fingertips. Okay? So you might want to move your fingertips out towards the outside edge of your mat, just for a little extra space, keeping it aligned where it was on the side of the body. From here, you're going to slowly start to peel your chest off the mat as you press down into all 10 toes. And then you're going to start to draw your elbows in towards each other, as well as your shoulder blade. Opening up through the front of the body, really engaging in the core muscles that run alongside the spine. Pressing down into the feet. Continuing with the Ujjayi breath here. And then we're going to exhale and lower down. On our next inhale, we're going to come back up. Drawing elbows and shoulders in towards each other. Exhaling as we lower down. And then last time, we're going to start to draw those elbows in towards each other, shoulders down the back. Pressing down into those toes. And then we're going to start to come up off the mat. Down our fingertips. And then we're going to lower down here. From here, we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to push up into tabletop position. And then we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to walk our hands maybe about a hand distance ahead of where they were. And then we're going to start to press down into the mounds of our toes, extending our legs straight, coming into a downward facing dog. From here, you want to make sure that we're pressing down into the hands, extending through the underarm area, and pressing those heels down towards the mat. If your heels aren't down towards the mat yet, you can go ahead and keep those knees bent. That's totally fine. But you want to work your way down. So you want to work your heels down towards the mat. Hips are pressing back towards the wall behind us. And then we're just going to go ahead, we're going to step this right foot to the right hand. And then we're going to drop this left knee down, bringing the right hand to the outside edge of the right foot. So we're just going to shimmy that right foot towards the center in between our hands. And we're just going to allow our hips to sink down towards the mat. And if you have blocks, you can go ahead and add your blocks to either side of your feet, your right foot, like that, so that you're a little bit higher off the ground. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead like this. Exhaling as we start to extend that right leg straight. Swing arms back. Our palms are facing towards each other here. And we're folding over that right foot. If you can, or that right leg, if you can, go ahead and flex that right foot for a deeper stretch in that right hamstring. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling as we extend that right leg straight. Flexing to that right foot. I have my back toe tucked under. I feel like that helps me balance a little bit better if I'm pressing down through that right heel and also pressing down through the back toes. Also engaging the core here is important. So sucking that low belly in towards the spine. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling as we stand straight. Last time, bending in that right knee, and we're going to bring the hands down to either side of the right foot. And then we're just going to step that right foot back. We're going to come back into downward facing dog here. And then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to step that left foot to the left hand, dropping that right knee down, and then we're just going to Bring the left hand to the outside of that left foot. And we're gonna sink down into those hips. And again, if you need to add those blocks here, go ahead and do that. We're just gonna go ahead and stretch that, the top of that right hip flexor. Here we're going to come into that fluid movement that we were doing earlier. So we're going to come up. If you need to add something underneath this right knee, go ahead and do that. We're going to inhale, arms overhead. Exhaling as we start to extend that left leg short, straight, flexing that left foot. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling as we extend that left leg straight, flexing through that left foot. And then we're going to do that again. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhaling, extending left leg straight. And last time, inhaling, legs, arms overhead. And then we're going to, last time. And then down. And then hands down towards the mat. And then we're going to step this left foot back. We're going to come back into a downward facing dog. From here, we're going to start to bend in the knees, lifting the heels off the mat, looking forward towards our hands. We're going to start to walk our feet forward, coming into a forward fold at the top of the mat. And then we're going to inhale up, lifting up halfway. Exhaling as we fold over. And then we're going to inhale, arms up overhead. Exhaling as you pass down through the heart center. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling as we dive down. Lifting up halfway. Exhaling as we plant the hands, walking the feet back to plank. Top of a push-up. And then we're going to lower down into chaturanga. You can either drop your knees down like this. I think I'm just going to do it with my knees down. The next time I'll do it with my knees up. But you can lower down that way or swing. So lowering down. And then we're going to inhale up. I just like to do a nice little cobra for my first vinyasa. Exhaling as I lower down. From here, we're going to press up onto our hands and knees. And then we're going to extend our legs straight here. Pressing our heart back towards our thighs. From here, we're going to inhale, right leg up into the sky for three-legged dog. Exhaling, right knee to nose. And then we're going to step that right foot forward. Spinning that left heel down. It's a heel-to-heel alignment, so front heel lines up with the back heel. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Bending in that right knee. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then we're going to start to extend that right leg straight. Same movement as we did earlier. Start to fold over. Bring your hands back. If you can go ahead and flex through that front foot for a deeper stretch. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhaling, extending right leg straight. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhaling, extending right leg straight. Inhaling, arms up overhead. And then we're gonna open up to warrior two. So we wanna kind of heel toe that right foot over. So we're lining up the right foot with the right arch. Sinking down into that right knee. Extending our fingertips to either side of the room. Bringing left hand down to the left leg, and then right hand comes up. Remembering to keep that right knee bent. From here, we're going to come back up to a standing position, and then we're just going to windmill our hands down. Bringing right foot back to meet the left, and then we're going to lower down into chaturanga here. So you're going to shift your weight forward, lower down. Inhaling, this time we're going to press up into upward facing dog. Exhaling, flipping toes, lifting hips, pressing back into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to inhale that left leg up into the sky for three-legged dog. Exhaling, left knee to nose. Stepping that left foot through. We're going to spin that right heel down, and there's going to be a heel-to-heel alignment. Inhaling, arms up overhead for warrior one. Exhaling as we extend that left leg straight, flexing through that left foot. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhaling as we extend the left leg straight. Inhaling, arms overhead. Last time. And we're going to come up. And then we're going to open up to warrior two on the other side. So remember, lining up front heel with back arch to warrior two. Extending fingertips to either side of the room like we did on the other side. You want to make sure we're stacking our shoulders directly over our hips. From here, we're going to take this right hand, drop it down to the right leg, and then extend the left hand up. Keeping that left knee bent. From here, we're going to come back up to a standing pose, warrior two, and then we're going to windmill our hands down to either side of the left foot, and then we're going to lower down into chaturanga, so we're going to shift our body forward, and then we're going to lower down. Inhaling as you press up into upward facing dog. From here, we're going to flip the toes, lift the hips, or you can just flip your toes, come to hands and knees, and press back into downward facing dog. Taking a deep cleansing breath here. Exhaling out through the mouth. Again, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth. From here, we're going to bend in the knees, lifting the heels off the mat, looking forward towards your hands. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward to meet your hands coming into a forward fold. Inhaling up, lifting up halfway. Exhaling as we fold over. And then we're going to inhale, arms up overhead here. Exhaling as we pass down through the heart center. From here, we're going to sit back into chair pose. We're going to do Namaskar B. So we're going to sit back into chair pose as we extend arms overhead. We're going to press our knees back so that we can see our toes. Or shift our knees back, shifting the weight into our heels. Exhaling as we fold over. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. Exhaling, planting the hands, walking the feet back to plank. Top of a push-up here. From here, we're going to lower down into chaturanga. Inhaling, pressing up into upward facing dog. Exhaling, flipping toes, lifting hips, pressing back into downward facing dog. From here, we're just going to step the right foot right in between the hands, spinning left heel down. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead for warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhaling as we bring hands down to either side of the right foot. Bringing right foot back to meet the left. Exhaling as we lower down, shifting our weight forward. Inhaling, pressing up into upward facing dog. Exhaling, flipping toes, lifting hips. pressing back into downward facing dog here. And then we're going to step that left foot right in between the hands, spinning right heel down. Inhaling, arms up overhead for warrior one. Exhaling, both hands down. Left foot back to meet the right. And then we're going to lower down into chaturanga here. Inhaling, pressing up into upward facing dog. And then you can come onto your hands and knees to get up to downward facing dog. Or you can just flip the toes and press up into downward facing dog. It's your choice, okay? From here, we're going to bend in the knees, lifting the heels off the mat, looking forward towards your hands. We're going to start to walk, hop, step, or walk your feet forward, coming into forward fold. We're going to lift up halfway for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling as we fold over into Uttanasana. And then from here, we're going to start to bend in the knees, sinking the hips down, shifting weight to our heels. Reaching arms up overhead, coming into chair pose here. Inhaling up. That was Namaskar B, so good job, guys. From here, we're just going to come to the back of our mat. And then we're just going to start to hinge at the hips. You can bring your hands to your hips if you want. Pressing those hips back. And you're very mindful when you're doing this. So you're sucking your low belly in towards your spine. You're keeping that integrity of your spine. If you need to go ahead and bend those knees, go ahead and do that so you can keep your back straight. And what I want you to do is I want you to connect your chest to your thighs. So if you need to bend your knees even more for you to do that, that's totally fine here. Okay? So from here I want you to interlace your hands behind your back, and you're going to start to reach your hands towards the top of the mat. Okay? So you're just going to allow your arms to fall down, to open up through the shoulders. From here, bringing hands down to our backs. Then we're going to release our hands down, slowly coming down into the mat. Now we're going to start the cool down. So we're going to come down to our mats with our knees bent, feet flat. Come down here. And then from here, we're just going to shift our weight into our heels, tucking our tailbone under, flattening the small of our back against the mat. Sucking low belly in towards the spine. You're just going to start to lift your hips off the mat. And you want to make sure you're keeping your thighs parallel here. Sitting those hips up. If you want, you can go ahead and interlace your hands behind your back. If not, you can just leave it there. Really pressing down into those heels to lift those hips up even higher. Okay? So you're engaging in the glutes here to send those hips up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to slowly come down here. If you want, you can bring your knees into your chest for a counter stretch. We're going to do that one more time, okay? So the palms facing down to start. And then we're going to tuck that tailbone under, or tuck that tailbone up, I guess, from where you're laying. Sucking the low belly in towards the spine and really flattening that low back against the mat. And then we're starting to press down into those heels as we lift our hips off the mat. Then we're going to We're just going to lift our hips up and move them over to the left. Lifting those feet off the ground like that. And then we're just going to drop our knees over to the left side. Let's bring our hands to a T. Let's bring our hands to L's actually. So our elbows are at 90 degrees. And remember, we want to keep that right shoulder blade flat down onto the mat. And I say remember because I always teach that way. So if you're new to my class, that's something that I stress. You want to turn that belly button up towards the ceiling. From here, bringing both knees back up towards the ceiling, bringing feet down. We're going to shift our hips over to the right side of our mat, bringing our knees up off the floor. I'm sorry, feet up. We're going to drop our knees to the right. To slowly bring our knees up towards the ceiling. We're gonna bring our legs out in front of us, allowing our feet to splay out here. Our palms are facing up towards the ceiling. We're flattening our shoulder blades against the mat here, releasing all control of breath. Allowing your body to become heavy against the mat. Feeling the weight of your heels, your sit bones, your torso, shoulders, and chest. Relaxing all tendons and muscles in the body. Feel yourself sinking down into the earth. Connecting with the ground below you. Relaxing in the tongue, cheeks, and brow. Shavasana. Here, you can either stay in Shavasana or you can begin to wiggle in the toes or the fingertips. Wiggling in the toes and the fingertips. We're going to start to extend hands overhead. Rolling over onto this time we're going to roll over onto our left side. A little different than usual. Bring our hand toward the front of our body, and then we're going to press down into the mat. Coming up into a seated position here. with eyes still closed, bringing your hands to your heart center. Showing yourself love and gratitude for showing up today. Repeating after me. I am love. I am light. I am happy. Taking in one last cleansing inhale through the nose. Releasing it out through the mouth. The light within me honors the light within you. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Bye.